Hello, wonderful universe. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing. And today it's video 12 of our Moon Mindfulness Challenge. It's a Sagittarius waning gibbous moon. And I just want to say thank you. We've made it through 12 signs, and we're going to keep on going. And as we go through, we're going to do another Capricorn. It's going to be our next one. And I'm going to start for the next month talking about the phrases that go along with the signs and how they can be incorporated into the moon, but also into your life. When that energy comes up, you'll hear people say, I know, I feel, I think. These are phrases that go along with the signs, and I'm going to bring that in and kind of incorporate it into the talk of the day. And then after that, we'll do a different thing in the next month after that, but we're just going to do one by one. So with this, there's a lot to say. Sagittarius, the moon has been in Sagittarius for about a day, and so it's just settling in with me. But I can definitely see how, and I've said this before, how the moon before works into the moon that is current. And by that, for me, Scorpio, those 3 days were intense, for sure. Emotionally, feelings, a lot of things were being unearthed, and right now I'm starting to process some of the shadow stuff that's been coming up around me and also in me. And so I have to say I've been feeling a little on edge, so a little bit edgy for me. So because this is about the feelings we're having, and also very driven. The on edge, I think, has got to do with more of the Scorpio moon and kind of digging things up. Things are kind of brought to the surface, and now with Sagittarius, I'm starting to think about it a little more deeply, almost philosophizing about it, thinking about how can I work with this? How can I transform this? What is my role in some of these things that are maybe causing me a little bit of tension, for certain. And so I can say that I think that's the major factor for me. I've also found myself a little bit still critical of others. And so that is, again, maybe something that's got to do with my shadow. And so something to work with for me. But I think as the days go on with Sagittarius, things are going to lighten up. I think the residual energy will clear up. But right now, I'm still feeling the energy from the last moon and kind of bleeding into this one. So what can we do? Well, first to think about, again, it's a waning moon, so things are leaving. The energy is leaving, and you may be also reaping a few more rewards, but it's getting very close to the new moon, so there's not a whole lot of energy within the moon and the emotions. And so I always like to think about, well, what can you do if you want to engage the energy? And there's so many things, right? But I'm just narrowing it down to a few things, and if you have something of your own, do that you like. But try to think of the spirit of the sign to really engage and enhance that energy. So the first thing with Sagittarius, I think about assessing beliefs. And since this is kind of a letting go of kind of energy, are there beliefs that are working with your emotions, or not working with, more of almost driving? I think the car driving your emotions. Is there something there that maybe you should get out of the driver's seat? It served you once, but maybe not so much. Or maybe that belief was, you had the information at the time that you could get, but maybe you found more information. You have to maybe reform or reevaluate or eliminate that belief because there's no information coming in. So do an assessment. It's good to think about, for sure. And if you have to let go, let go. Get out in nature. I know it's really cold in a lot of places. It's been like -15 off and on here almost every other day. We're in the negatives. So it's a little hard, but if you can, go outside for just a few minutes. Sagittarius, it's a great place for Sagittarius energy to be. It's grounding. It gives them clarity. Or it gives that energy clarity. So if you want some clarity, getting outside can really help reset, especially if the emotions are a little high. Since it's a fire sign, people are going to feel more active, a little more social, a little more going out. And if things get a little overwhelming, try to get outside and just reconnect because the energy is just a little more calming. The other thing is, I think of joyous celebration with friends. Sagittarius loves a good time. And by that, I mean hanging out with people, talking, entertaining, laughing, just enjoying people. So obviously with COVID, I understand it can be a challenge, but doing it safely, even if it's digitally or say outdoors, that'd be a great place to do it. It's where you can be distanced. Just try and get together and have a little bit of fun and find a little bit of joy in life as well. And then also, while you're with these people, if you can, or if you want to do it by yourself, do a little bit of philosophizing. You can maybe study a philosopher or just start to think a little more deeply about things. Sagittarius has a great view of the big picture, and it's a good time to just do a big picture assessment. Instead of looking at all the little details, what's the larger picture at hand? There's one caution I would say. I mean, there could be so many. Every sign has its positive and more detrimental energies if it's not working in the positive, healthy way. But what I would say is, for this one, the message I got, we talked about, not falling into the trap of beliefs always being right. Sometimes they need to be checked, but this one goes a little bit differently. And Sagittarius rules the archetype of the seeker. And the seeking is wonderful. You find so many things, you get so much information and experiences, but there's a trap in that too, in that the answers are always outside and not within, and that you're always going to have to go to other places, meet other people, do other things to find the answers, and that there's never a true answer, that you're always seeking. So don't continue to push yourself if you are always pushing yourself to go outside. Go within. And like I said, that could be some philosophizing, and find some of the answers as well within. They are there as well. So that's my one caution, is not to overly seek, especially, with emotions. Maybe you're thinking that all the things that are happening around you, which I've been kind of experiencing myself, kind of on an empathic level, thinking, are these my emotions or are these other emotions? And then I have to stop and go, are these really mine? And am I just hoping that some of these darker, harder ones aren't mine and somebody else's? Well, maybe they're mine. Maybe I should stop seeking out and look in. So that's a good thing to do. And it's a little bit of a shadow work there too. Coming off that Scorpio moon, kind of doing shadow work is very important. So there's a lot of important aspects today. The first two are with the moon, and I'm going to talk about a few bigger ones because I think it's really, really being felt right now. The first one is the moon is sextiling Saturn. And, Saturn brings a little bit of control to the emotions, a little bit of grounding, which is nice. There may feel like a little bit of restriction, but since it's a sextile, it's a good thing. So maybe they're getting driven, but Saturn's like, hey, come back here. Don't drive yourself into the ground. Pull it back. Or if the emotions are getting a little too big, a little too hot and heated, it's like, pull it back. But how I see this energy today is of friendship and exploration, and just like getting together and philosophizing and talking about the deeper things in life. And it's just a really great harmonious energy, and also like what we can do for the collective as a whole. And it's, it's very it's the world energy, finding answers in the world and what the world needs to operate and run in harmony. Just, it's a beautiful thing. So get together how you can and just talk and enjoy each other's company, and maybe some solutions will arise for the world. The next energy, or I should say the aspect, is the moon squares Neptune in Pisces. So I had to think about this a little bit. The moon's going to be a little more driven, wants to do things, get things done. The emotions might be a little, like I said, hot at times. It doesn't mean that they have to be hard, but just fast and very passionate, whereas Neptune's kind of bringing the dream. And so what I got the message for this was, don't let the dream rule the beliefs. There's this tension there, like the dream wants to happen, and yet there's action wanting to happen with the feelings. So there's a little bit of wateriness here, a little bit of nebulousness here. Don't let your beliefs get clouded by your dreams. There could be, it's good to have dreams, but I'm just trying to think of how to word this properly. Neptune, right? That's Neptune's job, is to kind of take away the words and have more of the feelings and just the experience. But dreams are great, but sometimes they can cause illusions, and you don't want illusions running your beliefs, because that could cause a lot of problems, as we've seen in the world throughout history. So that's how I'll say that one. So just check in with yourself when you're thinking about your beliefs. Are their dreams clouding it? Or, maybe they're actually helping it, but just take a check. So what I also wanted to say is the moon is going to be void of course for the next 14 hours. It's going to be a little bit after 1 here where I'm at Central Time. And so that's going to be kind of a calming energy, I would say. It's not a connected energy though. The moon's not making any aspects to any planets of the sun. So it's a good time to rest on Friday afternoon and try not to be too productive. It just kind of be and set. I mean, the moon will still be in Sagittarius, but I think it's important to honor those times. It's like, okay, there is time to not do and maybe process even. Like sometimes people are always constantly working on themselves. Like, don't, just be. And whatever that is for you, do that for you. And then today, and we talked about this in the last video, Capricorn is buzzing with energy. The sun is in Aquarius right now, which is great. But man, Capricorn has got it going on right now, and Mercury's in retrograde, and Mercury is conjunct Pluto today, a little later on today. And I think that's what I'm feeling. I had some revelations this morning. I was philosophizing actually about certain things that are in my life, and I realized, and I think this was Mercury hitting Pluto. You know, it's not quite exactly there yet, but it's just like these old structures, and I'm in a particular one, this structure was created that I am working in by people who are no longer around. And those people had their own beliefs and their own needs, and they tried to create what they could at that time for the future. But when they created it, they did not know what the future was going to be like at all. It's been several years. It's been half a century, actually. And so a lot has changed. And the way one of these structures that I'm working in right now, I don't want to say it's over, but it needs to be redone, all right? Like that Capricorn, that Pluto in Capricorn, Venus going retrograde in Capricorn, it's just like, and now Mars is in Capricorn. It's like, redo it. This isn't going to work for you. The people that made this aren't here anymore. The beliefs aren't here anymore, and the world is a different place. And talking about the Pluto return for the United States this year, I mean, we need to think about this. I mean, when our country was formed, it served a certain set of people, and it worked for a certain set of people, but the world has changed, and beliefs have changed, and the structure, Capricorn, needs to change to operate in a healthy way, because I think the tension of the unhealthiness of the old structures is really starting to get to people on all levels. And I think everyone is feeling this, not just in our nation, I think in their personal lives in different areas. These old structures, maybe you made them in your life, depends, and it was a different time, or you're living under structures that you had no part in. They need to change. And so I think that's the most important thing I can say today, is really sitting with that Mercury Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. With that, I think that's everything. I forgot to say it's January 28th, 2022, and thank you so much for doing these 12 videos with me. If you like them, join in, work with these energies yourself. That's the goal, real-time astrology. I'm feeling this today, you're feeling what you're feeling, you're going through what you're feeling, and it's about being in the present and not looking to the past and the future. I do that astrology as well, but this was a challenge for myself to really bring myself into the moment, and I want to share that with people. I think it's really important for us to be in the moment. And if you like what I'm doing here, check out my services at eurekaastrologyandhealing.com. Like, subscribe, write comments. I love to invite people to join me. I think this is going to be really fun as I go through the year, because I'm going to bring different aspects and really open up just little tidbits. It's not going to be an abundant amount of information, just little avenues each time. And I hope that people can just do these little bites, and then it slowly sinks in. And then one day after a year, they realize they know a whole lot more about astrology. And it's not, like I said, it's not going to be in depth, but yet have a better sense of the signs and the feelings of the signs and how they can be expressed in their life. Thank you so much. I'm Jennifer Helmer. Ciao for now.